This morning on The Dish, Ansots. It's short for Ansotegui, the Idaho family that creates incredible chorizo inspired by the Basque region of Spain. Dan Ansotegui is a James Beard nominee who's owned multiple restaurants in Boise. His latest was supposed to start as a catering operation during COVID, but it's become a sit-down dining destination, an authentic taste of the old country in the American West.
Here we go. But.
Ever since the first Basque migrants crossed the Atlantic and arrived here in the late 1800s to work the sheep trade, the traditions of food, music, and culture have been kept alive. At the center of that community today is Dan Ansotegui, his accordion, and his authentic cuisine, most especially his chorizo.
What do we do?
Well, we've started off here with our pork shoulder, and we've added some back fat. We want to get about that 65% lean to 35% fat.
In violation of the age-old saying, Ansotegui showed us exactly how the sausage is made.
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add our whole garlic, paprika, a little bit of Aleppo pepper, and salt. As that's going, this is just white wine.
Nice.
So we're getting some moisture here. And then this is the chorizo pepper sauce. This is what makes a chorizo for Spanish and Basque people.
Smells good.
We're halfway there.
Then in came the stuffing machine.
We're just kind of bringing this up, and we're going to just add it right in there. We want to make sure we don't have any air pockets. Then what we're doing is we're basically putting this entire amount on there. So now the next thing we're going to do is rather fun. You're just going to go ahead and rotate at a comfortable speed, and it'll just start coming out.
Wow.
And we want a little bit of resistance, not much, just a tiny bit.
How's my speed?
It's just fine. So here we go, and we just measure it like this, and we just kind of pinch it here and turn it.
Okay.
And it gives us our length. Then the next one, we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to go the opposite way.
Oh, okay. Ansotegui still makes his chorizo the same way his grandma Epi did, from a recipe passed down over the generations.
She was in command in the kitchen. She started as a seamstress, came over as a very young lady, married my grandfather, and had to learn how to cook really quick.
Ansotegui eventually traveled to Basque Country to learn more and has run 3 restaurants in Boise. The latest is called Ansots.
My cooking came out of that desire to eat well and to have those flavors that I remembered growing up.
How did Boise become such a bastion for Basque culture?
So there's a little bit of the history is a little bit like the Irish in the sense that poverty drove the Irish and poverty drove Basque people to leave.
But why Boise?
Boise happened to be the largest town in the area, had the most boarding houses, so the most Basque people came here. And so when they finished herding, they often stayed in those towns where they were getting used to and getting to know people.
A Basque festival of food and arts called High Aldi is held every 5 years in Boise, bringing in 30,000 people from around the world. And the city's sites include a Basque museum and multiple restaurants and shops. In 2019, Ansotegui was named a Cultural Heritage Fellow by the National Endowment for the Arts. Ansots has grown from its initial vision as a catering operation, pushed along by Dan's daughter, Ellie.
What has this place been like for you?
It's been super interesting just because we started during COVID. So it was kind of just like constant fear of if we would make it or not. It was my first like real profession because before I've always worked at restaurants, worked at my aunt's restaurant, but I was like the busser girl. And so now I had to take on leadership.
For the Ansoteguis, the family business goes beyond making traditional Basque food to making traditional Basque music.
What is it about the accordion?
Nobody really knows if you're doing it right. it's kind of, they're like, I think that's pretty good. I don't know. That's it. That's all we know.
When it was finally time to eat, the table was stuffed. A charcuterie board.
It's difficult to find much charcuterie in the Basque Country. Charcuterie really, we see that in other parts of Europe, especially Italy. But I love charcuterie. However, I don't like a lot of the Italian spices. So what I wanted to do was take charcuterie, but present it with Basque flavors.
Calamari that was plump and extra meaty. A BLT and egg sandwich. And the chorizo.
This is the one that we patterned. We're on recipe number 19 right now. And
Recipe 19?
Yeah, because we were trying our very best to get to Grandma Epi's chorizo.
Casing is a little bit crispy.
And that comes partially from the time that it hangs,
I mistakenly called it a sausage earlier.
but it is.
It is.
A chorizo is a sausage.
Okay, so I can say that.
Sure.
Also, mixed croquetas, eggs in purgatory, paella with sausage, clams, mussels, and chicken, a burnt Basque cheesecake, and a sugary caramelized croissant called Queen Amman.
So it's hopefully I did it correctly.
It's dense.
But I've also never been trained, so I kind of just throw things in the oven and be like, I hope it worked.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Or hope it works.
Hope it does okay.
Why is it so important for you to keep Basque culture alive in Boise?
I don't know how often I actually think about something like that. Food makes me happy. I get to try things and flavors, and it's just like, okay, that's really going somewhere. And so when we're doing things that make us happy and make other people happy, I feel like we're going the right direction.
And we want to thank the Ansoteguis for sending us this wonderful spread all the way from Idaho. Dig in, please.
I already did.
Basque meatballs and salsa española, clams and matzak, salt cod, and Spanish cured ham, a chorizo or chorizo plate.
The chorizo, I think, was the spicy one I had that was really good.
You get the spicy one?
Yeah, it was really good.
And the charcuterie board, which is house-made. And what's really cool is there's a house-made charcuterie there with squid ink, like the black charcuterie there.
Yeah.
Really cool.
And these both are cod?
One is cod and one is the mixed croqueta, I believe.
We'll keep eating. Good stuff.